Hey, we're back, and we're all back. One for all and all for one. We are back. Yay! The Three Musketeers are back again. I am John.
Hey, it's Paul.
And it's Eric.
And it's
I am John.
And John.
Right.
I am called John.
Just want to make sure you guys all know that you're part of the Matrix now. So yeah, we are What If Geeks, and we're here with a Geekly Weekly because it is now November 17th. So hopefully I drop this tomorrow, or it's Friday, either way, before I go on vacation. I'll get it out. It's gonna come out tomorrow, and there's a lot of shit to talk about before the end of the year because wow, 2021 is ending with a bang. We got a lot of shit that we've been kind of doing and talking about, and yeah, a whole bunch of shit came out just recently. So what have you guys been up to? Paul, you didn't bother to tell us anything on the set list, so let's start with you.
I'm so boring. I don't even know what I'm into. Like, it's taken me this long. I'm on episode 5 of Squid Game. Like, I'm super behind. I've sat down to watch Shang-Chi 3 times, and I've made it a total of like 10 minutes.
How?
Yeah, I don't know. Life is kicking my ass right now. I don't know.
I love that movie. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you who might doubt the review that Eric and I gave, don't. just Paul's having an issue right now. he'll get back to you in 2022.
Exactly. By the time Shang-Chi 2 comes out, I'll have seen this one.
All right, and that's about it.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. So good, Eric. What have you been doing?
Like usual, watching a bunch of shit late at night that's worthless and not worth watching because I killed the playlist. But actually, I did watch. You see that new Bruce Willis flick that is exclusive to AMC Plus? It's called Apex.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw about it.
Yeah, I watched that last night. Not great, to be honest, but well, the premise of it is that like he's just a general badass, and the universe can't kill him. He's not like a Navy SEAL or anything crazy like that. He's just unkillable. And I swear to God, this movie makes references to all the other movies that Bruce Willis has been in, because they go through this whole thing where they're talking about how he can't be killed. And they were like, only man to survive a train crash, broke ribs down the side here, broke his arm doing this. I'm like, you're naming shit that he did in different movies. This is fucked up.
Walk across glass barefoot.
Yeah.
Just one time in an office building.
But I mean, the premise
One time
of it
he
is,
said "yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker" to a German. It was
yeah. But the premise of the movie is that there's a bunch of rich assholes that like to hunt people, and they pay a bunch of money to hunt somebody, and the person that they hunt, gets their family taken care of or whatever. That's basically the premise of it. And he's in prison, but he's got grandkids, and so he agrees he's going to do this thing. And so all these hunters go after him. That's really it. But the hunters are used to hunting down like ex-Navy SEALs and all this shit. And when they introduce him at the beginning, they're like, no, he's not that. No, he doesn't have any special training. No, he's just unkillable. The universe can't kill him. That's how they present it. It's really fucked up, but it's kind of fun. There's funny shit in the movie, but it's not that good.
Right. I'll probably check it out.
I also, because I think I'm the major gaming nerd among us, but I bought a game bundle from Humble Bundle with a bunch of older role-playing games and shit like Tyranny, the 10th anniversary edition of Skyrim, and some other stuff like that. So I've been kind of nerding out with RPG games.
Nice.
Replaying stories.
PC or on a console?
PC. Some of them are available on PS5, like the Skyrim Anniversary Edition is available on PS5, but I'm not sure that they all are.
Nice. Cool.
There's a Netflix documentary about video games. Have you seen this?
I don't know.
Goes back to like Atari and the first games and Pong and whatever, and one of them talks about like,
oh, you're talking about High Score, that's
yes, yeah, okay, I've seen part of it.
Yeah, So there's one episode where they talk about role-playing games, and they interview Richard Garriott, the maker of Avatar, those old Avatar games. So I got a hankering to try to go find one of those.
I will tell you one that I know we've talked about before. It was on the original PlayStation. I have it on my little emulator here. Suikoden. It was they've got multiple ones over in Japan. I've got the second one downloaded to this thing. I just started it. It's so in depth with the amount of characters that you have to try to collect to build your army that to do the entire game 100%, I just did it like 2 months ago. And I've done this, like I've played this game on the PS1, the PS2. like I've played this multiple times. And finally one day I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna work my ass off and play this game and try to get like everything I possibly can. And there were like 2 or 3 times where I had to kind of like go to the internet and like Google, like, all right, I've exhausted everything I can at this part. I'm missing something, right? So then they'll be like, you're supposed to go here, here, and here. And I'd be like, well, shit. I have to go back and go do something, whatever. But I finally finished it like 100% about maybe a month and a half ago. And it was like funny because, you know, here I'm 46 friggin' years old, but I actually felt like it was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. Because I've literally been playing this game for probably 30 years, right? Just on and off. I'll just play through and I'll be like, oh, okay, I did good. Because I love the story, right? It's just this whole, you know, young kid joins a rebellion kind of thing, and it builds from there. And so, because I don't want to ruin anything for anyone who's never played it, but find it and go play it. You two guys would probably love this game. And in about 6 months, you're going to be telling me, like, you know what? I looked up that game and wow, yeah, the game is crazy, like how in depth it is, but simplistic in play. You know, very, very turn based. Just bloop, you know, pick your fight, spell, whatever, and then just go. But the storyline is so in depth; it's really, really cool. And I just started the second one, and like 3 days into it, I was already like lost. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like I know what I'm in for, but I'm gonna do it eventually. Through the holidays, I'll get more done. But yeah.
You know, Tyranny is one of the RPGs that came in that bundle that I've been playing. It's kind of like that, but it's the story is like really in depth, but it branches constantly, and you choose a path, and the whole game goes completely different based on what you choose. And you can go back and replay it and do literally a completely different story by choosing something different at the beginning. You know, just like completely go off. So there's like a bunch of if you do it through Steam, there's a bunch of like achievement cards where it's like, oh, you got through this path, you got through this path, you got through this path. So if you're like a massive completionist, you can play the game like, you know, 8 different times in order to get through all the different story elements. You know, you can be a bad guy, you can be a good guy, you can do something in the middle. You know, there's always kind of multiple choices, and it affects the whole gameplay.
No, was that originally on PC or was it on like a console?
Yeah, that one came out 5 or 6 years ago. It was done by Obsidian Entertainment, who's like big time into the storytelling aspects of gameplay. So I think they did like Pillars of Eternity or something before that. But yeah, it was PC from what I can remember. I don't think it was on a console.
Can you get a Mac version?
Yeah, definitely they have it for OS X for sure.
I know nowadays you kind of like you can get one or the other, but
yeah, they make it for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux.
all right, sweet. Okay, I'll have to look it up. Nice. Yeah, all right. So I mean, on the video game front, like I said, Suikoden 2, and I've been going back on the emulator playing all my random stuff because I haven't had a lot of time to play. We just had a lot going on between Noah's football and his birthday was last weekend and whatever. So we've had a lot going on in the last few weeks that we've been doing. So I haven't played a lot, but I played that. I've been playing a lot of old school Command and Conquer, Red Alert. I love that game.
That's a great game.
I love that game. I've been playing it on here. And I just much easier than back in the day when you'd have to sit there and write down passwords. I just take my phone and a screenshot my. It pops up on the with the password. I screenshot it, type it in the next day. Now this one, it saves it, your progress. But if you have to go back, it's convenient. I've been playing that, and then just kind of like random games on there, just for like 5-10 minutes here and there. We did, Heather and I know I talked to you guys about it earlier. One of the few series that we like to watch together, because we don't get a lot of time with TV together, is Lock and Key. There's only a handful of series that we watch together. There's like 911 and 911 Lone Star and that kind of stuff, whatever, But we love Lock and Key. There's just something about it. It's got that Harry Potter CW vibe, whatever, I don't know. But it's really cool. And we just finished season 2. And it's really, really good. So if you guys are not on Lock and Key yet, get on it. It's good.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of the second season with Becca, but I haven't gotten further.
Yeah, keep going. It gets really.
The Dexter series released, so we started watching that instead.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And then finally, the last thing I'm watching right now, outside of like sporadic, whatever I can find, Chucky. So, do you remember when I laughed at the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm kicking my own ass. I'm making like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar. I'm kicking my own ass in the bathroom because, damn, this series got me hooked. That trailer got me where I was making fun of like the kid taking the doll to school, whatever. And the last time we talked about it, I was like, they kind of make it make sense. And somehow this series has managed to grab all of the older movies prior to that AI reboot and incorporate all of them, almost all of them, into the series and make it good. I don't know how the fuck they did it, but they've done it. And I'm just like, and again, like I know when we started this thing or when we talked about it the first time, I was like, I'm going to watch it because I love Chucky, right? So I know there's probably part of that. But I went into it skeptical. And damn, I'm like, little things that they bring in from the different movies. I'm like, how the fuck did you? Yeah, okay. You made that make sense and you made it fun. These writers are amazing. So if you're not watching Chucky yet, it's on USA, Sci-Fi. You can buy the whole damn series for like $15. And as it comes out, you just get a new episode. I think that's on Amazon. You can do that. But get on that. That series is really, really good. All right. So moving on. Florida Man. We don't do this very often anymore. We have to start doing it a whole lot more because Florida Man's the gift that keeps on giving, and it is the holiday season, so we should give you all gifts. So I didn't see which one of you put this on there. Was it Eric?
It was me. Yeah, it was me.
All right. Florida Man uses finger guns to steal Waffle House napkins. And I'm pretty sure that was it, right?
That's basically all there is to it. The guy ran into a Waffle House. He screamed, "Get on the ground! Y'all are getting robbed!" Held his fingers up, not like in a pocket or something, just his fingers, like he was gonna shoot somebody with his fingers. Then he grabbed a bunch of napkins and left.
Oh, but he also yelled out. My favorite part of the story is he then yelled out after yelling out, "Y'all getting robbed." He stated, "Then I'm high and drunk."
Yeah.
And he grabs some napkins and runs out. And here's my question, because I just read this. So he gets arrested. He was taken to Madison County Jail on charges of unarmed robbery and assault.
Mm-hmm.
Who did he assault?
Who did he rob? Like, seriously, some napkins? Like, I thought this is the reason I actually shared this. Like, Yeah, this guy's an idiot. It seems like he was probably drunk or high or combination of both. And it was kind of a joke. And he went in there laughing like, ha, you're under arrest, puts his fingers in the air, or not under arrest, sorry, getting robbed, puts his fingers in the air. But then he leaves. He doesn't hurt anybody. He doesn't do anything.
Eric, looking at this dude. Hang on. Here we go. We're going to do this now. We're going to do this right now. Bam. Bam. There he is. Okay. Look at this dude. Look at him. Okay. He was 100% serious. He was not kidding. He wasn't kidding. Fuck that. Did that work for you?
I can't see it from my end. Yeah, I can see it. So, it just bugs me that I get that they called 911. Maybe they weren't sure, whatever. But then the police go arrest him and charge him with unarmed robbery for taking napkins.
Okay, unarmed robbery is funny because he's not armed at all. But technically, he did rob them. The napkins didn't belong to him.
What is this though? It's like, what is the value of that theft there? Like 3 pennies? Like,
But I do remember hearing them now. So to caveat this to those of you listening, this story is from like October. I remember hearing about this, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when he yelled that, they all got on the ground.
Oh yeah, I think
they straight up free guys, just lay the fuck on the ground.
If you've ever been at a Waffle House late at night, that's probably not the craziest thing that's happened at a Waffle House or any Waffle House, frankly.
Right?
No. And you know what? If anyone runs in a Waffle House and just says, "Get on the ground, you're being robbed," they probably all just drop. So.
If you just walked into a Waffle House and said, "I'm drunk and high," people would just cheer and be like, "Yeah, come on, yeah. Why we're here? It's 2 a.m.
Get a double stack. Let's go.
Right. Let's go. Scrambled, smothered, and covered. Let's go."
To me, though, there has to be like a disorderly conduct disturbing the peace, some other thing that's more appropriate than unarmed robbery and assault. Like, what the hell?
But it's Florida. Come on. You look. They're gonna go after him as much as they can, and the fact that he actually like pulled it off, kind of like he robbed them of napkins. That's the most Florida thing to happen in a little bit. Outside of the guy catching the alligator in the trash can, this is the most Florida thing to happen in a while.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for next week when we bring you some more Florida, man. Well, not next week.
I don't know about you. I'm not doing shit next week.
Oh, well, next week I'm going to be out of town, so we're going to drop one of those evergreen.
Oh, best of.
Yeah, best of. Well, there you go. We'll do a best of. You're making more work for me. I fly out Saturday.
Sorry.
You're going to get an evergreen episode next week. You guys be all right. All 5 of you that are listening. All right, so
you can do all the cuts from. You remember we used to do the cuts at the front of the video, like something stupid that was said during the episode. Just take all those out.
Do all that. Yeah.
Do an hour-long amalgamation of us saying stupid shit to each other.
All right, so let's see. Let me get my mouse to work here because we're gonna go on to news, and I've got. I'm getting there. Sorry, guys.
Disney Plus Day. I don't even know where that came from. Who came up with Disney Plus Day? Is that the 1 year anniversary of its launch or something?
It must have been Disney Plus.
Was it 1 year or is it 2?
Yeah,
I don't even know. I really don't even.
I feel like they just needed a thing to. They needed something to make news and make a press avail and get some stuff out there. So they just called it, "Hey, it's Disney Plus Day."
All right. So I guess
they don't do D20. They don't do D20 anymore, which is where this stuff would have happened.
We'll just save this guy for the end, and I'll re-edit my my background, and we'll do the Disney Plus one because that's a better idea. You guys were smart. You listened to me and you skipped over what I said we're going to skip over. There you go. All right. Thanks for listening to me.
Yeah, so a whole host of announcements on Disney Plus Day.
Dude, holy shit.
Largely dealing with Marvel, but some others too.
Most of it, and like everything behind me is all Marvel. But the fact that I really didn't even like watch this, and then we just kind of talked about it like offline, I was like, I missed this entire thing. I was just busy. I read all this shit, I was like, oh my god. But like, all right, so all the shit behind me is just Marvel. So I guess we can just kind of like start there. I don't know if you guys open up. I forget which ones I tagged now.
Well, running down the list, X-Men '97, which will be a animated series.
And
Yeah,
it's a
but
continuation of the
correct. And with that animation style, with that animation style, that opening song, the whole thing
Yes.
sort of picking up where it left off. That's going to be cool.
which that I mean that animation style or the opening song, like as when Disney Plus first, yeah, yeah, when the Disney Plus first launched and I saw the original one on there, the first time I tried to play it for Noah, and he liked it. He watched like 6 episodes, and then he just kind of fell off because he was watching other shit. But he watched like 6 episodes straight. The first time that thing hit, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh, like, I love that series. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So then we have Moon Knight, which they did a first look trailer for. So that's Oscar Isaac led Marvel project. It's not, there wasn't really a ton in the first look. I mean, to tell you what it's really gonna be about, but
there was enough in there. His voice was very high pitched. It kind of threw me off for a second. I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, obviously, Moon Knight, superheroes got multiple personalities. So they show that in that little trailer where he's kind of like listening to the voices in his head, whatever. I don't know if that high pitched voice he's doing is only going to be like one of them, but it was weird when he first started talking. I was like, is that Oscar Isaac? I'm so used to him in other things. I'm like, I don't recognize his voice, but it was him. Yeah, then they do She-Hulk. We'll do She-Hulk right here. That was another one that was really brief. But they did a quick little, good.
well, I was just gonna say that they actually had 2 for that one because there was a trailer release and there was the first look. There's both of those. They're actually different footage.
Okay, all right. All right. Maybe we'll drop both of those on the website because I don't know if I watched both. I saw like a brief teaser trailer kind of thing.
Yeah.
The one where she like the little kids doing push-ups, and she's like, my name is Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer, not quite your average lawyer. And then you see her from behind, which is ironically very She-Hulk, maybe not very 2021, because it like pans up her ass, which anyone who's ever read anything with She-Hulk in it, she's very free and open with her sexuality. She sleeps with a lot of people, which is cool. You do your thing. But in today's day and age, I wouldn't think you would have seen that. But this thing pans straight up her ass in this little superhero outfit, and this is a green She-Hulk, and then it immediately cuts to her in a containment unit, and the Professor Hulk standing outside telling her the transformations are triggered by fear and aggression, which is perfect. That's really all you need. That's all you need for this whole thing. Now, they don't go into the whole like she's his cousin or whatever, so who knows? Hopefully they keep all that, And
it's the comics. Something happens and she needs a blood transfusion.
Yeah, and he's the only one that can save her. Right. So he gives her the blood transfusion. I think that's because it's so way back in the day. I think that's kind of when Bruce Banner realizes that, well, fuck, I can give this thing to other people.
Yeah,
which explains why he's so adamant about keeping track of his blood in the Hulk movie for Marvel, the one with Ed Norton. How he's like every drop of blood, he's trying to trace it. The one that made Stan Lee sick was kind of funny. So it looks good. again, I don't know. It's Marvel. I'm very,
Yeah.
I'm so fucking biased when it comes to Marvel nowadays. I am as biased to Marvel now as I was to Star Wars when they first announced Force Awakens. So hopefully Kevin Feige never upsets me as much as Kathleen Kennedy. So far, 10 years and over running, we're good. All right. What else we got in here?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel looked, yeah, it looked good. Looked interesting. Um, that was live action, right? They had the girl in the little suit that looked just like Captain Marvel,
Yeah, Kamala Khan.
Kamala
Yeah.
Khan, and which is funny because in the very beginning of the comic, she still kind of looked similar to Carol Danvers in the comic, but she does kind of like make it her own thing, like shortly after she first starts. In this one, like she looked exactly like one of the versions of Captain Marvel back in the day, right, with the helmet and everything. So obviously, they're just showing you a quick teaser, introducing her real quick. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, like with her powers, because her powers are completely different. Yeah, and just see her kind of making her own thing. I think it'd be good. Uh, Echo, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I forget. I remember.
Echo, that's introducing Maya Lopez, who's gonna be part of Hawkeye.
Okay. All right. Now I remember Echo. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, from the comics, I remember. What else I got behind me? Well, I am Groot.
I am Groot. Season 2 of What If. Secret Invasion looks pretty cool. There's not a
It
sort
did.
of ton.
The entire teaser was just an older Nick Fury looking at the camera. Then you were
Yeah.
done. And
Yeah,
I was
not a
happy.
lot to go on, but that comic, I don't know, happening. It's weird to call something happening, but like that was the whole long series that branched into other titles, like Civil War did, and through the
Yes.
comics, like a bunch of comic book companies do every 18 to 24 months. But that was really good. Like the idea that the Skrulls have been among us for a long time, right? And
Yeah.
who turned out to be a Skrull back in the comics was pretty cool.
Yeah. So and that's all it was. So it was basically like, how many of these comics have you been reading? And for the last 3 years, you've been reading. It's been a scroll.
Right.
And just showing Nick Fury with more of a beard kind of already alluded to that whole thing. So it was very subtle, but it was all right. Okay. You know, I don't know how they're going to do it in the MCU, but it's going to be interesting.
If they do it like the comics, I think that'll be cool. Like go back and have characters that you, or hint at that characters that you knew and liked either from the movies or something else for Skrulls.
Yeah, I think it'll be really, really good. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, like you said, season 2 of What If, and then what else behind me?
Well, that's a good segue to Marvel Zombies because
Oh my
it's the
God.
same kind of concept. It's like
When
an
I saw
alternate
that-
reality.
When I saw that flashcard come up, I was like, "Are you serious? Like, we're just like going all in." I'm like, fucking Kevin Feige has just lost his goddamn mind. like he can't. I think he knows he can't do any wrong now, and he's just like, "Let's go, just go."
I mean, honestly, these aren't bad because they're like little alternate reality side story kind of things. It's like,
Yeah.
if it fails, it fails. Who gives a shit? We just move on. It's not like you.
Right.
It's not like you altered the course of the MCU or something.
The MCU is still the MCU. Now he did say that What If, after the success of the first season, he came out in an interview. Jesus, can't talk tonight. And said that since What If was so successful, you might see it in other media. And that's all he said. Now, what the fuck that means? I mean, you could take that as the multiverse in the MCU, which we'll get to later. Video games, comics. I know they already announced new comics because there was a poster for a What If, which had a Wolverine, but kind of had like he or she might have been a he. It's hard to tell in the comic, but had like a Deadpool color scheme, like red and black, but it had a hood on. It had 4 claws instead of 3, like Wolverine. But it just said, "What if March 2022?" So
yeah, I mean, definitely the
get back on
comics.
comic.
I mean, the comics wouldn't be a surprise, right? I mean, it ran
No.
through the 70s and 80s. Then they had another set that went, another volume that ran through the 80s and 90s. And then even now, I mean, there was a 2013 version, there was a 2014 version, a 15
It's
version.
got a wildly successful podcast going on now.
I think the last series they did was 2018.
Yeah.
In the comics.
Yeah. So after that show, it makes perfect sense to bring it back. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
He's just in terms of all these, when you talked about kind of what they need to be successful, like it's not a movie, right? So we're not worried about box office gross. This is all about, all of these things coming to Disney Plus are about keeping eyeballs on Disney Plus, right? Don't go over to Netflix, don't watch Hulu, don't watch other stuff. And so they need to start throwing out content.
Well, they own Hulu, so I don't think they're doing that, but
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm just messing
around. So they need to throw up content on there because they're behind Netflix, right? Which is constantly pumping out stuff and getting stuff from other places. And so they're behind in terms of content. And so if this keeps them at closer to that level and makes you stay on Disney Plus, they're all for it. And they got to pay Oscar Isaac to do Moon Knight and do all this stuff. The one thing we didn't talk about was Agatha House of Harkness, bringing back Agatha Harkness from the WandaVision series. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah.
All right.
And the one thing I didn't spend a ton of time looking at in the top for me over John's shoulder, top right-hand corner, that Spider-Man freshman year.
Yeah.
That looks kind of cool. Is that the one where they're the 3 Spider-Man, the Miles Morales are roommates?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna have to play around with that one. We'll go back and look at that one and we'll get back to you guys. Because I don't even remember that one. But all right, cool. So what do you think? We're done with that one? How about we skip the trailers until the end, because the last 2 trailers are going to take us a bit.
Okay. So what do you want to do? Box office?
Yeah, let's jump in the box office.
Okay, so Eternals 71 million opening weekend. I saw that. I thought it was awesome. Have either of you guys seen it yet?
No, and again, because my schedule has been effed up, but I found it funny that prior to you watching it, the only thing I heard was critics, and this thing was getting killed by critics. And then you were like, I liked it. And then I went back and I looked again. Yeah, critics don't like it, but guess who likes it?
Yeah. It's got a 47. It's got a 47, and the green's flat on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
the audience has given it an 80.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So if you read the critic reviews, they're pretty harsh on the director for having it long. I think it was like 2 hours and 38 minutes. But this movie has no connection to the rest of the MCU until like literally the very end, pretty much. It's not to say there's not Easter eggs or something in there, but it's just like they're telling the whole story, and they don't even bother just jumping into the current story. Like they go back like 5,000 years in history and tell it from like when they first came to Earth, what they've been doing in between, the things they've influenced in history, and they use that as part of the character building, like, you know, what choices they made at different points and things like that. So it's a different kind of Marvel movie. It's definitely a little slower. There's still tons of action, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a little slower in the beginning on the storytelling side. I mean, there's a big fight scene like right at the beginning when it's telling why they're there and what they're doing. And then after that, it kind of gets slow and it's a lot of character building. And and whatever, and then it gets back to the sort of present day story, and then there's a lot more action again. But no, I thought it was good. I really did. I mean, like I said, different kind of Marvel movie, but it's good.
Yeah, so
I liked it.
It's made for us.
Yeah, well, and you know, they've thrown in some of the things that have been really successful. Like there's a little bit of comic relief, but it's not too much. You know, they use what's his name, Kumail Nanjiani. Is that his name? No, I'm saying that wrong. But they use him. You know, he's got some. You know how his comedy is, I guess. Just he's got a quirky way of doing things. It works though. It all works in this. I thought it was good. Good.
Yes, I mean it's done well overall so far. So, I mean, I'm gonna watch it at some point. I would have liked to have watched it in the theater, but unfortunately, the next one I'm gonna watch is tomorrow, Ghostbusters. We'll get to that in a second. But yes, I haven't watched it yet, but I want to. So the next one, and I threw it on here more because it's, you know, sometimes we throw shit on here for family friendly stuff, and we've all got kids, and well, surprisingly, Clifford the Big Red Dog, they made a movie about this fuck. And it's not doing bad, and I know no one wants to watch it, so we're gonna watch it probably over the holiday week while we're gone next week. It's done 16.5 million opening. It opened up on the 10th, so it's been out for about a week.
It's in theater and Paramount Plus at the same time.
Oh, okay.
What if I told you they spent 65 million on that movie?
Did they really?
I wouldn't doubt it.
They really did.
60 million is on that damn dog. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't.
They're taking a bath. They're taking a bath. It's got no international, like no one overseas wants to see Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I'm not sure that they're releasing it overseas. Maybe though.
I don't think anyone past like the southern border of Texas knows who the fuck Clifford the Red Dog is.
They should release it in Japan because they could argue that he's a kaiju. Like
there you go.
Right, it's something that Godzilla should fight. It's
raising like a baby kaiju, and
right, it's a big red dog.
Yeah, love builds a kaiju. I don't know.
Clifford the Big Red.
I think we just created a genre right now. So yeah, so we're gonna watch it. God, thank God it's on streaming. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel bad they lost money on it, but it looked cute. Whatever.
Go back.
Well, they did simul release with Paramount Plus, so
they knew it was coming. They knew it was probably coming.
Yeah, it's hard to judge, really. Just like the next one you're going to cover. So
yeah,
well,
so
you got to imagine in the pitch meeting, they're like, "I want to make Clifford the Big Red Dog," and they're like, "Man, why did we invite you?"
Are you sure you didn't want to make Mad Balls? Because I think we don't want to make Mad Balls.
That'll be great.
There's an 80s reference for some of you kids. All right. So yeah, next Dune.
Dune. So that's simul. Yeah, I have. That one launched simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max. So big budget. 165 million, I think they spent on the production for that one. They're definitely amazing. What's that?
Trailers looked amazing. I want
to. Yeah, and honest to God, it was more impressive than I even expected after seeing the trailers. So they had a pretty decent opening. They probably at least they made all their budget back in the theaters despite having done a simultaneous release on HBO Max. But you know what? I didn't know, and maybe I somehow fucking missed it or something. But it's not the whole movie.
No, because they said I heard about that in a podcast. It was like 2/3 of the book.
Yeah, at the point in the movie where he's about to go, join the folks in the desert, it just stops. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Where's the rest of my story? But no, I really liked how they did this. They changed some of the characters slightly, but it's still pretty true to the original. There's other things they changed too, like the Baron. He's all pussy and weird and shit in the original movie, but in this he's less so like that. He's more like a It almost reminds me of Vader at times, where they like walk in on him and he's inside of a chamber, or he's in like a some kind of liquid thing, and he like pops out of it. And so he's definitely got something wrong with him, just like the original guy, right? He's got diseases and shit, but they don't really portray him as like a nasty, disgusting dude, although he is terribly mean. But yeah, I thought the whole thing was really cool. I love the fucking armor they did for Duncan and the other guys, like that sort of like organic looking armor ship, way different than the original, but looks really, really cool. Anyway, yeah, loved it. I mean, I was a big Dune fan, so you know, it is what it is. Maybe you shouldn't trust me, but I thought it was done really, really well, and I'm super excited to see the rest of it.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, I'm gonna watch it over the holidays at some point. But yeah, no, it looked good. I wanted to watch it. I just didn't get time. And then like the last two in box office were still kind of hanging in there. No Time Left to Die, James Bond, and Eric's left us. And then Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. They're kind of still hanging in there.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, Venom 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, they're still kind of hanging in there a little bit. So yeah, that was the box office. So now we're on to coming to theaters. As of now, tomorrow night, I will be going to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. Officially, it starts 19 November, but of course, you know, early release is Thursday. We are recording this on Wednesday the 17th. So tomorrow night, I've already got my tickets for the big ass nice recliners at the Cinemark to go watch this movie in XD, because I'll be damned if I'm not going to watch this movie in XD. This is good. I've watched like 3 trailers and like little tidbits all over the place, and at the same time trying to avoid any kind of spoiler, but I don't know how you can spoil this movie. It's fucking Ghostbusters, but Ghostbusters is back. like, sorry, you know, we made fun of and really tore apart the reboot with Melissa McCarthy and all those women. Sorry, it didn't work. This is Ghostbusters, and holy shit, I am so looking forward to tomorrow. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm not as eager as you to go see it, but I definitely want to go see it. So
yeah, I don't have tickets yet, but I would like to see it. I've been waiting for this movie. We've been waiting for this for, I don't know, since the start of the pandemic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a bit delayed at this point. Yeah.
Yes, because it was supposed to drop mid-year 2020. That first little teaser with Ecto
summer. It was supposed to be summer of 2020. Yep.
The first teaser they did of Ecto 1 in the barn was January of 19.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we all looked at that. We were talking about it at work, and we looked it up. It's been waiting for a while. I can't wait for this movie. I think it's really going to be good. Again, you know, I always, you know, try to temper my expectations because I've had my ass kicked by trailers, but if I get my ass kicked by all this shit that I've seen, I'll be shocked. Everything that's involved in this right now, I'd be shocked with, you know, that last trailer that they dropped where, you know, they just kind of, they showed a lot of the same footage, but then little snippets of some little newer shit or different angle shit. And then the little kid in there says, our grandfather was a Ghostbuster. And then there's that one shot where you hear the proton packs light up, and you see 3 figures from like the chest down, and you hear Bill Murray, "Did you miss us?" And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I was like, I cannot wait. Like, this movie's gonna be epic. So, and it looks good. It looks like they brought Ghostbusters to now. So I can't wait for this one. All right. So then 24 November, Thanksgiving week, whatever. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City drops. And I know a few of these we've talked about. the last Geekly Weekly, but we're just kind of like ending out the year on all of these. Again, nothing new to say about this one. It looks like it's going to adhere more to the game, so I'm more for this one than I
Yeah, I
was.
mean, it is a reboot, so
Yeah.
and no big stars or anything, so
No. But the trailer just hit me like this is very close to those first two games I played, which is what I wanted out of the first original series.
yeah, that's exactly what they adapted it from. First two games specifically is what it's supposed to be based on.
And there is a shot in the trailer where they come around a corner and there's a zombie eating somebody, and he turns and looks, and that is like the iconic original Resident Evil game shot that everybody remembers, because that's like the first time you see one in the game. Like he's eating somebody and he turns around just like that, and he looks as much as a early 90s video game made to life can be. Like he looks exactly like that guy. Like the blood is in the same spot. It's amazing. So when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, damn, all right. Okay, you got me. So yeah, so we got Resident Evil. You guys, you ready to watch it or yeah?
I don't think I've seen one. Maybe I saw the first one, but it has no impact on my brain. So, and I've not seen any others, so I can't imagine that I see this movie.
All right, Eric, fellow king of zombies.
I haven't actually seen all of them. I've seen most of them. They kind of lost their intrigue for me towards the end there, but
I don't blame you. Like I said, the only thing keeping me in there was Mila Jovovich and Ali Lauder, and that was it.
You know, the fact that it's a reboot and they're gonna sort of retell it from the beginning, I'm definitely down. I'll go see it. I don't know if I'll see it in the theaters, to be honest, but I will go see it. I will see it somewhere. I might wait till I pay for it on streaming.
Yeah, you know, as much as I would like to go see it, I don't know if anybody else in my family will go see it with me, so I'll probably wait, but I want to see it.
Well, maybe you and I should go see it together then.
There you go. All right, look at that. We'll have a little,
but not on Thanksgiving week.
Night. All right. All right, so then 17 December, and we will talk about this in depth here in a couple of minutes. Spider-Man No Way Home. Yes, and we'll leave it there.
Yes.
We'll leave it there. And then 22 December, Matrix Resurrections. And that's also streaming, correct, right?
Yeah, it's also going to be on HBO Max. So I will probably watch that one from home, given that it's, 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah. And only for that reason, I think I'll do the same, because I really loved the Matrix series, and even more so because I think the third one kind of fell off for me. I kind of like lost interest in it. I love Keanu Reeves, so I really want to support him more than anything else. But I think I'm going to watch this on HBO Max just because I got so much going on right around that time frame. So I'll watch this at home. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, same. I really liked the first two. The third one, right, like most trilogies, drops off by the third one. But yeah, so looking forward to them rebooting this and slash reboot. What are we calling this? A reboot slash sequel?
Yeah. I don't know. Is the Matrix reset?
Reset, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how they get you.
All right, so going on to streaming, and then we'll get into those last two trailers, and we're gonna briefly go through streaming. So I don't know, Eric, if you want to kind of like go through most of what we said on streaming is going to be November and December is going to be a whole lot of Christmas, and then a whole lot more Christmas, and then after that, there's some other shit in here that's kind of cool.
Yeah, what else do we have in here that's really worth watching? I guess, well, Shang-Chi will be on Disney Plus this month, if it's not already out there. Or do they already put it out? No, they put it out Disney Plus Day.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So Shang-Chi's on there to watch. Jungle Cruise is on there to watch, which was also part of the premium service that you can pay $30 to watch early. I did, sadly. No, not sadly. There's a new documentary thing on there for Boba Fett, Under the Helmet.
I want to watch that.
Worth a watch, yeah. The first couple episodes of Hawkeye will drop on the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then after that, like throughout December, they're gonna drop weekly. So that covers that. There you go.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery season 4 premieres on Paramount Plus on I don't know what day. Hold on, freaking date. November 18th, so tomorrow. What
I
else
put that on for you. Oh yeah, well Paramount Plus. For those of you that are interested, Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo is gonna be on there. So make sure you check that out.
Did I just make an Electric Boogaloo joke? Or was that? Is that
you did? Yeah, you did.
In the part that's going to get cut.
No, it's in there.
The Matrix trilogy will all be available on Hulu, if it's not already. Most of the Alien movies are going to be on Amazon Prime, but because they like to annoy me to death and they don't want me to watch it in order, they keep doing this shit where it's like, oh, you can watch Aliens, but not Alien. Oh, you can watch Alien 3, but not the original. Like, fuckers. So here we have Alien, Alien 3, and then Resurrection. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, just leave some holes in there. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
No
just
big
leave out
deal.
Aliens.
Yep.
But there it is. I think, what do we have coming out in December? We already talked about Matrix Resurrections. There should be a simul release. Lost in Space, if anybody likes that. I watched the first couple seasons of that.
Season 3 comes out Netflix.
I think it kind of got more drama-y, sort of weird for me. It was almost like watching a soap opera. But the second season of The Witcher.
Yep.
Which I will definitely watch that. Let's see
Cobra
what
Kai
else.
season 4.
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Yeah, my whole family watches that, so that's why I put that on there.
The book
Reference.
Book of Boba Fett series, which we'll talk about the trailer in a minute. The first episode of that is going to be right before the end of the year on December 29th.
On Disney
and then
Plus, yep.
on Disney Plus, yep. And then Disney Plus is also doing some sort of 80s special with Rob Lowe.
Which, when I read it, because I had no idea this was coming out, but when I read the little thing, it was like, basically he's going to look at like all the top gadgets and toys and commercials and yada yada from the 80s. And I'm like, that's like everything we talk about. So we're going to have to watch this thing we'll see if we can make an episode out of it.
All right. And then in December, there's also a handful of Marvel stuff coming out on Amazon Prime. I don't know what that's though.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of animated stuff on there. I mean, you're gonna get like, first of all, Amazon Prime this year started Thursday Night Football. So for the football fans, that we never really talk about sports, but I'm a huge football fan. That's interesting. I mean, I watch it elsewhere, but that's cool if you want to watch it there.
Yeah, I don't really watch football either, but I got the notifications on my phone when they started doing it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Stream a live game. I'm like, what is this?
But it's like I put in the notes, I think we are this much closer to my dream of a la carte streaming what you want at an NFL. We're that much closer.
They don't do that soon. Like we're still doing 80s style football watching. Like you still essentially have, it's the last thing you really need to watch live.
Yeah.
But we're still doing blackouts. Like in 2022, when we can stream anything we want, we still like, if some people don't decide to take their butts to the actual game, like it won't be on TV. What kind of crap is that?
Yeah, so they've definitely got to get with the times, and I think they're getting closer. They're just not quite there yet. Hopefully, they get a Kevin Feige. The next thing you know, Groot will be the new quarterback for the Patriots. Or I don't know.
If they had a plan where you could stream your favorite team's games, for, you charge it just about whatever you wanted.
Yeah, you could even because I mean it's easily done by say location, right? Geographical. So you can say like I have to watch the local games for this much money, but then for $5 more, I can pick a team. or whatever. You know what I mean? So for me, that'd be perfect because
Or you just do it, look, if you just want to watch, we live in Central Florida, right? We're somewhere between Jacksonville and Tampa. So we get both, we're in both regions. So if the Bucks are playing, it's going to be on Fox, unless it's blacked out for some reason. So you still want to, like, if you don't live in a major football town and you just get whatever game CBS decides to put on, and that's all you want to do, cool. But if you want to pay extra and you want to watch every LA Chargers game, cool. Here's how much it's going to cost.
Yeah. And I've been
outside of getting direct ticket.
Yes, yeah.
And all that satellite dish.
Almost 200 friggin' bucks a month, or 200 bucks for that season. Right. Every season, every year. It's crazy. In today's day and age, there's no reason to do it. So I really think, like what you just said, just you pick your team, you pay a certain amount, and you're done. All right, so moving on from that, Amazon Prime. So like you said, Eric, whole bunch of Marvel animated shit. Hulk versus, that was a really good one. That was Hulk versus Thor and Hulk versus Wolverine. And I know we talked about that a while ago. There was Next Avengers, which Heroes of Tomorrow, which is like the kids of the Avengers. And that was a really cute but cool story for like kids. Like Noah watched it, and he watched it like 7 times. And the more I watched it, the more I was like, damn, this is actually a good story here, And then they've got a bunch of other stuff in there, like Planet Hulk, and there's other stuff in there like Iron Man and Thor and other Avengers stories that are in there. They're going to be on Amazon Prime for animated shit, so you can watch that. There's a lot of shit. You can watch it.
I think the other thing on here that might be of note to somebody our age, the Rocky franchise will be available on Amazon Prime. And this actually harkens back to, what was it, May? Amazon bought MGM Studios for like $8.5 billion. And people were wondering back then, well, does that mean that Amazon Prime will have all the rights to the Rocky franchise, the Creed franchise? They also make Handmaid's Tale, interestingly, which plays on Hulu. But anyway, it was kind of a question mark. That deal's all closed, of course, now. And here we are, December. All the Rocky movies will be available on Amazon Prime. And, MGM didn't even make the first 2 Rocky movies. They had nothing to do with them, but they bought the company that made them several years ago. So
they got them all. So now interestingly, they did 1 through 5. They didn't do Rocky Balboa or either one of the Creed movies. So maybe they're saving those 3 for the new year, but
it may have something to do with streaming rights elsewhere. It's always so hard to know because these companies make deals where it's like, okay, you can have exclusive streaming rights for this period of time or whatever. And so these things, even when companies get bought, those deals usually stay in place and you have to kind of wait for them to play out, which is a big part of the reason that Disney waited so long to do Disney Plus, because they had so many things that other networks had bought rights for, temporary rights for. So they were kind of waiting.
Yeah, so I'm sure you'll see those soon on Amazon Prime, but it'd be nice when you can watch them all in one spot. But I love the Rocky movies, so they're going to be fun to watch. All right, so let me get my mouse moving here. And then
I think we go to trailers then. Let's do the trailers and be done with this.
Yeah, let's scroll back up to trailers, and we are at, all right, hang on.
I think the first one you had was the Batman International trailer.
Yeah, that one. Pow.
Oh, you're changing your background.
I do my backgrounds, baby.
So there's, I think, some new footage here, a lot of stuff recycled from old trailer stuff we've already looked at. But they really are continuously painting this super dark Batman picture. They hammer it home with every trailer. It gets sort of more in your face, but that's definitely where they're at.
Yeah, there was just enough in this one to be like, all right, there's a little bit new stuff in here, but not a whole lot.
Not a ton, yeah.
And I like that in this trailer because, again, especially with a franchise like Batman, how much are you going to give me in a trailer? Because you're going to give me the whole movie. You know what I mean? So just hide it and let me watch it when the movie comes out. But it's got me. Again, we go back to when they first announced Pattinson as Batman. I was the first one on board. I put the little glittery Lego Batman up there. I was like, this is gonna be him, and he's won me over in the trailers. So I'm like I said before, I always root for them to do well. I'm rooting for them. So far, they've won me over. Hopefully, it's a good movie. That's all I can say.
100%.
How are you guys? Same?
Yep.
All right. Obi-Wan, I don't even know if I have something for that one.
So Obi-Wan, this was our first real glimpse sort of into the series here.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what shocked me is that in the video you see Ewan McGregor without the beard. And I was thinking to myself, fuck man, he looks younger. He's supposed to be older.
Yeah, because you know what? When I first read about this, they kept saying they're going to drop a trailer or a teaser trailer last Friday or whatever. And I kept looking for like a full trailer, and it wasn't. It was kind of little snippets out of them talking to the actor, at least Ewan McGregor, and then like the director or whatever. Yeah, and then they were like behind the scenes shit. And that was pretty much it. Like you saw shots of Darth Vader or whatever.
I don't think any of the footage is from the actual series. I'm pretty sure the Vader shots they did are recycled from other stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of concept art stuck in there too, different places and stuff.
And it starts with Obi-Wan dropping off what we assume to be Luke on Tatooine, and then it talks about. Right. The story is now what happens between the time he drops Luke off and we're reintroduced to him, I guess, at the time in Star Wars: A New Hope. So what were those intervening years like for Obi-Wan, right? And they're bringing back Hayden Christensen to play Anakin / Vader,
which I am all for.
Yeah,
I think, and I know we've talked about it before. I know back when the prequels happened, everybody was like harping on that kid, but we discussed it, and I really do think that a lot of his portrayal was Lucas's fault. And I think that if you see him under another director, he'll be better. That's what I think. I think. And just to see because we talked about it too. There's a kind of a little skip there between Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan leaves Anakin to die on Mustafar, and then when he sees him on the Death Star again, but he tells Luke, Darth Vader killed your father, but through story that he knew better, right? And he fights him again. Point of view. Yeah, right, exactly. And he fights him again on the Death Star. There's somewhere between Mustafar and when he talks to Luke that Obi-Wan learns that this half mechanical thing that is Darth Vader is his friend Anakin. Right? There's something in there, and there's a story there, and that's what this is going to be. And that's kind of I can't wait for that story. It's going to be really cool. Just to see that kind of the realization that no, you lived and you're here. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, Eric.
It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. It also doesn't seem like it's gonna really be all on Tatooine, because they showed concept art that looks like probably Coruscant, some kind of underwater base, which maybe it's Mon Cala or something. I really don't know for sure. There's
no reason to keep them on Tatooine except for the fact that he's been hiding. But if, let's say, Darth Vader for some reason realizes he's still alive, comes looking for him, he's gonna make a run for it to keep him away from Luke.
Yeah, well, that's the other part I was gonna say is from what I can tell in these, I don't know, artwork and things, it looks like they're gonna have the what the hell are those guys called? The Inquisitors or whatever, the ones that hunted down the Jedi for Vader. It looks like they're gonna be part of this. So I think Vader may, well, actually, we know from what they talked about in the actual first look that he is gonna face Vader again. Well, face Anakin as Vader, right?
Yeah.
But also it seems like he's going to be hunted probably by these Inquisitors or whatever as he's going around to these different spots. So I think Vader will probably be the culmination of the series, not something we see early on. I don't know. It looks super cool though.
No,
even just with concept art and stuff, I'm like, oh man, the story's gonna be like everywhere. He's gonna be doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go on to the next one. I really don't have. I thought I had a background for it, so we'll just do that one because Boba Fett said it. So, all right, dude, it's gonna take us forever. Book of Boba Fett. They dropped the trailer for this thing. So, for those of you who have not watched The Mandalorian, shut this off. Go watch Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and then come back. Anyone else? You should have watched this already. At the end of Mandalorian, they dropped the one quick little teaser for this new series, Book of Boba Fett. And I will say that Filoni and Favreau, just in that one little teaser, hooked me so quick. Like just the walk into Jabba's palace, seeing Bib Fortuna sitting on the throne, like a heavier Bib Fortuna, like he's been there for a little while, and then Fennec comes down, kills the guards, and then Boba Fett walks down, and the whole like Bib Fortuna like, Boba, I thought you were dead. Sorry, hey, how are you? And then Boba just fucking shoots him, kicks him off the throne like trash, and sits down, and then it just says Book of Boba Fett. I was done. You didn't have to show me a damn thing after that. And then they showed me this, and I'm like, oh, we're doing like Godfather and Goodfellas in space. I'm like, yep, okay. Like,
yeah, we're doing Star Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly, Star Sopranos. So, all right, who wants to just kind of walk through the trailer real quick, and then we'll move on. Because there's so much in this trailer that like you can break down.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we start with the Jabba's palace on the outside. You see those little spider things which showed up in the what was that? I don't know. It showed up in a few. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Showed up in one of the movies, so I don't know why they're giving credence to them. The actual Jabba's palace is actually their monastery. They're like some kind of
weird monk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it walks by in Return of the Jedi, and basically what it is, it's a brain in a jar. And it's these monks that lived there and decided that the way they can go to the next evolution is to take their brains and like relinquish their physical form, and they put their brains in these jars to worship their god or whatever. And these spider things carry the brains around, but that's all they really do. They just walk around and like talk to each other. So the gangsters just took over that monastery. Jabba took it over, then Bib Fortuna took it over, and now Boba Fett is going to take it over.
Yeah, and we hear Boba Fett's voice, I think right here in the beginning, say, I'm not a bounty hunter. So apparently he has, for whatever reason, sort of given up that is his persona. But I don't know. He's given that up for some other reason, but they don't reveal that here. We don't really know we don't know why he sees Jabba's throne, what it is that he's trying to do. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
We'll wait and see, but speculation, because that's what we do. I would think that it's probably a reflection of his time in the Sarlacc pit. He had time to reflect over his life, and while he might still want power, he doesn't just want to kill people, which is kind of goes on to one of the next things he says in the trailer. where they're like, you sit on your old master's throne, and he says, Jabba ruled by fear. I will rule with respect. And then he lets people speak to him freely.
Yeah.
So there's that whole thing there. So yeah, I don't know.
I think the probably most important part of this is that we saw in Mandalorian season 2, right? At the end of that, he rescued Fennec Shand. Well, that was when the reveal was. We saw it earlier, but rescued Fennec Shand, and it's very clear in the next scene in this trailer that the two of them are somehow working together. Maybe she's working for him. I guess he did save her life, right? But they almost seem like equals. I mean, at one point she's like sitting on the arm of his throne or something. Like that's, you know.
She's either the consigliere or something like that. Maybe if this is going to be a mob family, that she's that role for him.
She's his right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems more like a partnership or something that they've got going. Yeah. You know, she talks shit on his behalf at one point to somebody else, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't wait for him to give her permission to speak, but yeah.
What else do we have in here? We see a city that I assume is not Mos Eisley because it's much bigger and it has like towns all up on the edges of the hill cliffs and stuff. I don't even know if that's on Tatooine, to be honest. It could be somewhere totally different, but because there's supposed to be only three towns on Tatooine, and isn't Mos Eisley like the biggest one? This one looked huge. But anyway, it seems that they have maybe a new client or something. There's this like Ithorian noble or whatever, Lord Kingpin. I don't know what the hell he is. It's kind of like he's sitting on his own almost little throne in the thing, and he's got his hands crossed like this. But he says to Boba, "I think I've heard otherwise," something to that effect. Like, you really are still a bounty hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
So right after that, they cut to the scene in the street where he drops his helmet down full of the Imperial credits or whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he's got a mission for him. There's obviously going to be some kind of something that goes on there. But then that meeting clearly goes wrong, as far as I could tell from the trailer, because not long after you see Fennec Shand with a freaking rifle or whatever, and there's this standoff thing that happens, and she's got Gamorrean guards behind her. So it's, I don't know. Again, I mean, they're not giving us a lot, but
no, they're giving you just enough to like, all right, we're coming, and it's coming. In a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. End of the month, right?
Yeah. End of the month. So, yeah. All right. Anybody got anything else on this one?
I'm super excited. Yeah. I think this is gonna be so freaking cool.
I'm looking forward to this since the Mandalorian ended.
No shit. Like I said, as soon as I dropped that little teaser, I was like, get the fuck out of here. All right. Well, speaking of get the fuck out of here, a little thing happened Friday night. Marvel and Sony dropped Spider-Man No Way Home trailer 2. And
haven't heard of it. What's this about?
I think it's some guy goes with a spider.
Some guy gets bitten by a bug.
Thing. I don't know. Yeah, it's like The Fly, but with a spider. No, so yeah, they dropped the second trailer, and goddamn, again, they don't even give you a whole lot in this trailer, but they do give you a whole lot in this trailer. We have to kind of break it down a little bit because there's a lot to talk about. So basically, it starts off with Peter talking to MJ, and he finally says, because I don't think up until this point in the MCU, he's ever actually said, I got bit by a radioactive spider. Or maybe he briefly mentioned it, because I know, like, when Tony Stark found him, he was just this kid with spider powers, right? Mm-hmm. I don't remember them ever saying he got bit, but here is the first time.
They've never had to, because there's been two other Spider-Man franchises, and we know the story. So
and we're gonna get into that too.
this is a good way to like, hey, remember how this happened without having to do it over, right? Because we've done it twice. We did radioactive. The Tobey Maguire spider is sort of gene spliced, and then the other one is also gene spliced and manipulated somehow and DNA changed, right? So we got an update from the plain old radioactive spider, but
they don't have to do it twice, right? Yeah,
we don't have to do it a third time.
So this whole trailer starts with him talking to MJ and saying, ever since I got bit by the spider, I only had 1 week where I felt normal, and that's when you found out. And I was like, that was a really cool way to kind of like breeze you through everything that happened in the last, never mind 2 movies, like 4 movies. He's been in Avengers and whatever, so there's multiple shit that he's been in that like you just kind of covered all of that shit. And then it kind of cuts through a bunch of scenes of them together. They cover him running with the Peter Parker Spider-Man logo on the TV screens and running through the subway and whatever. And then it cuts to Strange saying, when you messed up the spell, so now the spell is messed up. We already guessed that in the first trailer. He said, when you mess up the spell that you wanted everybody to forget Peter Parker as Spider-Man, we started to have visitors from every other universe. They're like, oh shit, here we go. And then you see the pumpkin bomb and the different shit, right? And the first really new thing that you see is when you see Doc Ock's tentacles attacking on the bridge again, right? Like you saw in the last one. They cut to Alfred Molina again. He says, hello, Peter. And then his tentacle comes and slams him into one of the bridge supports, and his mask comes off. And he says, you're not Peter Parker. Right. And that's the first thing that I want to talk about. Is it only because he's from a different universe, which is what I think, or is it because Strange's spell partially worked? It could be one or the other, right? I think it's more because he's from a different universe.
I think the universe thing.
If it would have worked, then he wouldn't have said hi, Peter. Like he would have been like, hi, Spider-Man.
Right. Okay. I'm just kind of like teasing some of the stuff that I've heard on other YouTube channels and shit. So that's what I think. I think he just doesn't recognize him because he's not fucking Tobey Maguire.
Right.
I think this is actually not to sidebar too much, but I think this is actually really kind of clever since they're playing with the whole alternate universe, alternate reality kind of thing, right? They're not just introducing sort of changes in the timeline. It's like, oh yeah, these other Spider-Man movies we have that don't quite fit in the continuum, yeah, that's because they were part of another universe,
right?
Right. And this is how we bring them in.
Yep.
I think it's a really clever way to do it if you're going to have all this,
No, it is. And so you cut through a bunch of different little cutscenes throughout the movie. I know you see at one point you see Aunt May running through there. Like I know I wanted to bring up the trailer while we were talking about it, but fuck it, too late. There's a shot in there where she's running, and I think she's getting attacked, obviously. So we'll hold my theories to the end. There's right after that they show Doc Ock captured in a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing, and he's sitting there, and they ask him, "What's your name?" And he says, "Dr. Otto Octavius," and it's Peter, Mary, MJ, and Ned, and they all laugh. And Peter says, "No, really, what's your real name?" Which is something that they've actually done throughout the MCU, where the other earlier superhero movies, especially the Spider-Man ones, they kind of like embraced the campy comic book thing. The MCU is kind of like made fun of it a little bit. Where like even like they did it with like when Spider-Man met Doctor Strange the first time, when he's like, "Yeah, I'm Peter Parker," and Doctor Strange says, "Doctor Strange," and Peter goes, "Oh, we're using our made-up names." Well, I'm Spider-Man then, right? So it's like that kind of thing. Like they still do that joke where like they can't believe his name is Otto Octavius and he's got fucking octopus arms.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. But if you notice, and I don't know how this is going to play out timeline wise in the movie, but in there, when he turns and looks at them like you're fucking with me, his tentacles turn too, which in the previous movie meant like they're sentient, right? They're still like they're aware, which is kind of like you got to go through the timeline of Spider-Man 2 where at the very end he took control or whatever, right? But they were in control of him for a little while, but they turned with him. But when they turned with him, there's like a red color to them that matches Spider-Man's armor. So throughout this trailer, there are parts of it where it looks like they absorbed some of that nanotech. And I don't know what it's going to mean later, but it looks like he's got either Stark Tech or he absorbed some of Spider-Man's suit into those fucking arms. Because they're not the same from the Raimi universe. They've got that red nanotech look to them. So I don't know. So I mean, we're gonna find out here in a month, but it could be something, right? So then he tells them, "You're fighting ghosts," and Doctor Strange tells them, "Well, all the people that came over were destined to die fighting Spider-Man," and that's where you get that next key scene where he looks at Peter and says, "I'm sorry, kid," and Peter says, "Me too." And right, he looks over, and right as he's about to do it, he's like, "Don't." Strange tells him, "Don't do it," and he webs the little container for that multiverse thing to take it from him. So that's where I think you get that whole fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, where Spider-Man's whole thing now is no one else is going to die, even these villains. I think that's going to be the key to the thing, because that was the whole thing. Doctor Strange told him they're destined to die, and he said no. And that's a key thing out of the comics where no one else dies, right, from the Uncle Ben thing. So I think that's where you can get that key, because we were wondering why there were scenes of him and Strange kind of at each other, and I think that's going to be it, where they're kind of like at odds because Peter wants to find a way to save the bad guys, and Strange is just like, all I care about is, Sorcerer Supreme, right? I'm going to save this universe. He's done it before. He told Tony, if you make me decide between you, the kid, or the time stone, it's not an option, right?
Yeah.
So he's shown that before. So I think there's going to be a key in this movie. That's why you see him kind of attacking Peter, is because he's trying to stop him and put these things back so they can die. Now, then you get into a whole bunch of bullshit. Either one of you guys kind of want to take over, you feel free. Anybody, you want me to keep going?
Well, I mean, there's several scenes like Spider-Man fighting Electro, Green Goblin.
Yeah. That's when Willem Dafoe starts to do the voiceover. And that, you had me there. Once he started to do his voiceover with the, Peter, you've been trying to do this whole thing, whatever. And I was like, oh, here we go. But the Electro thing I found was really cool. They updated it from Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he was blue and whatever. There he was like all energy, and he might still be now. But did you see how he had more of the classic green costume, and then when he used his energy, it gave that star pattern that used to be his mask in the comics? Mm-hmm. Like he shot his electricity, and it gave that pattern. And I was like, all right, see, that's classic MCU. Find a way to make it look cool, And then and then you see Sandman kind of in there too. which is what we thought in
Yeah.
the first trailer. You saw the sand coming in the first trailer. We're like, the Sandman, and now you actually see his face in the sand, like fucking mummy. Raw.
So you got most of the Sinister Six in this scene right here, right? I mean, you have Lizard, Sandman, Electro, and then you already seen Doc Ock before. So who the hell are we missing? Are we missing somebody?
Rhino.
Oh, Rhino.
Rhino. It depends on what version of the Sinister Six you're looking at, too.
Yeah.
You can have Vulture.
Vulture.
You haven't seen Michael Keaton in there yet, but you have seen.
Oh yeah, Vulture.
So.
Yeah. He was teased before though, so.
Yeah.
Right.
He was in the Morbius trailer.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're all connected now. Again, like I said, Doc Ock has got some kind of Stark tech. Who do we know in this series that has gotten a hold of Stark tech before? Vulture. So I mean, you can go that route too. I don't know. But so all right, so that last main shot you get with, I guess, those three villains coming at you, and then Spider-Man going after them. Was there anything big after that? I mean, that was like the major shot, right?
Yeah, no, the last scene after that is the one where Peter tells MJ that it's all his fault and he can't save everybody, and then she starts to fall off the edge of that tower.
Yeah, like
and
every Spider-Man love interest does.
Yeah.
Gotta fall and plummet to their death, or almost to their death. All right, so now outside of that, what did you guys think of the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Oh,
we still haven't done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there is one more scene I forgot. The very, very, very end of the trailer, the last like second, where they show the Statue of Liberty and it looks like the Captain America shield or whatever they were building on there is crumbling, and then there's a huge like tear in the time rift or whatever it is, the universe, and Doctor Strange says they're starting to come through. I can't stop them, right? Which makes it seem like it's happening after the Sinister Six fight. So I'm not sure what that is, but. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, the one thing I was hoping for was a hint of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield.
All right.
And that's what John wants to talk about.
Perfect segue. So apparently, and I haven't been able to.
Is this going to be one of those, like, if you freeze frame it at this point and you look in their glasses and you look, it's clear they're looking around the corner and.
Yes and no, because I haven't been able to verify it yet. But Friday night when this thing dropped, I watched the trailer like 4 times because I'm an asshole. And then I was watching some other YouTuber do a live stream about reactions or whatever. And he kept showing this one scene, which was the big Spider-Man going up against the 3 members of the Sinister Six, right? And he kept freeze framing it. And there were people going, no, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. And the reason was, where you watch it, you see Electro, Sandman's big face and his fist, and then you see Lizard. But in his shot, as Lizard's coming up, his head snaps back like hard, right? Like he's getting punched. And the guy that was hosting it was like, what is that? So I went back and watched the trailer like 3 more times, and it's not in the trailer. So my first thing, because they were all saying it's fake, I was like, this thing literally came out 15 fucking minutes ago. How fast are you that you can edit this thing, right? So it turns out, doing a little more research between the other night and now, is the Brazilian trailer, right? That was actually in the Brazilian trailer. There's a couple other things in there that maybe the editors that were like editing out other shit weren't quite great. Like there's a shot right where Ned is going to try to catch MJ before she falls, and Spidey goes to jump after her. And there seems to be a Spider-Man arm and part of a shoulder almost edited out behind him over here. And they're like, oh, what's that? And then they show like other shots where they're like, this actually looks kind of like more like Andrew Garfield's suit than it does whatever, you know. But that key shot with the lizard's head snapping back, Paul, I'm telling you, I watched this thing like fucking, I don't know how many times. I watched that guy's live review of it, and I watched him play it, and I still can't figure out how somebody could edit this thing that quick after they dropped that trailer. It looks real, and I really think that that is in the Brazilian trailer. I cannot find the Brazilian trailer anymore. I can't.
I found it. You want to give me the host real quick?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, hang on. God, I can't find my mouse. Holy shit. Yeah. Boop.
Got it.
No, hang on. It's coming. Something's gonna happen. There it goes. All right. More. Make host. Go.
All right, got it.
I want to see it.
Okay, so you can see this.
We just watched the trailer, right? Yeah, this is where it cuts off.
Okay, so here's the setup. So you've got Electro here. He seems to be like high up here somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. You got Sandman that's like staring right at, you know, our Spider-Man.
Right. Yes.
And then you've got Lizard down here at the bottom who is jumping at I don't know what. So I mean, this all happens in a couple seconds, but just watch Lizard in particular. Watch Lizard as he's going through the air here, and I'm gonna try to do a slow. Do you see what happens to his head?
Look at his head.
It looks like he gets like knocked back somehow. And so what people are saying is that this Spider-Man is facing off against Sandman right here, and you see Sandman's fist coming through it. Electro is facing yet another Spider-Man, and Lizard is facing a different one and just got punched in the face. Yeah. So that's that they've edited out the other two Spider-Mans in this scene.
This is like watching the Zapruder film, trying to be like, okay, there's
there, bam.
I mean, you have to really look at this though. Watch Lizard in this. I mean, it is extreme. Like boom, like it does look like
like
it does look like his head gets knocked
the Brazilian
back.
trailer. And like I said, Paul, Paul, I saw that literally 12 minutes after the trailer dropped. They were showing that, and everyone was like, "That's fake. It's not in the trailer." And then everybody else was like, "No, that's not the American trailer. That's the other one." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I've been Googling all over the place, and I'm glad you found it, dude. And again, we go back to, and I'm not gonna go back to my screen because we already done this. We talked about it. Marvel is known for this. They've done it. Right. They did it.
I said to John earlier.
Eric was laughing at me when I first said it. We started looking into it. And I was like, dude, they did it in fucking Infinity War when they put the Incredible Hulk in the charge. And he was like, what? And I said, dude, remember Infinity War when Hulk was not in it except for the first 5 minutes? And he goes, yeah. And I showed him the original trailer, right? When we first signed on tonight. And he was like, oh. And then he looked. I said, Eric, you can Google and you can probably find it quicker than me. And he found like a dozen different times where Marvel and Disney have done this kind of shit. I'm telling you. And I'm trying to go into.
I'm not saying they're not in it. I'm
right.
I just I wanted it in the trailer. I wanted a picture. I wanted something more than watching the Brazilian lizard, whether or not his head snaps back. Like, don't make me do that.
I wanted something more.
Show me Tobey Maguire and show me Andrew Garfield. Like, show me the back of them. Show me a foot. Show me but don't make me do.
Show me a hand. Show me a voice. Give me a voice of, hey kid, we got work to do or something, right?
Yep.
Give me something. I wanted more, but. There was that because Kevin Feige has constantly said fans cannot get their hopes tempered, or they should keep their hopes tempered. All three Spider-Men have said the other two are not in this. But on the one hand, I'm like, all right, I want to go into this just like it looks cool just the way it is, even if it's just Tom Holland fighting multiple universes of enemies. I'm happy. However, there's that old phrase, methinks thou dost protest too much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys are just arguing this a little too much. And then that on the Brazilian trailer, I was like, I can't explain that. Not yet. Like, I know there's some really good guys out there at editing, but that was literally like 10 fucking minutes after that trailer dropped. I was like, I don't know how the fuck you do that. I mean, I've spent 3 hours editing an hour of our bullshit, and all I did was drop little video clips in them. Like, I don't know how the fuck you do that quick. So yeah, I think that's real, and I think there's more to it than what we see. But we're gonna find out in a month. We shall find out in a month. All right. So again, what do we think of the trailer? Yay?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Because we're on well over an hour and a half now. So yeah, we're done. All right, cool. That's all we got now. Everybody like, subscribe, ring a bell. Now we're actually here in front of you. Yay. So, like, subscribe down there. Ring a bell. Tell us what the fuck you think. Tell us you're tired of looking at us and you want to see like cartoon images up here. That's cool too. We're good with that. Cool. Yeah, we'll do little masks. It'll be fine. Let us know what you think of all the stuff we've talked about, the trailers. How excited are you for Ghostbusters in like a day? Well, by the time you listen to this, yesterday. Did you like it? I did. Maybe. Like, subscribe, like I said, hit us up at whatifgeeks.com, whatifgeeks@gmail.com, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what else you want to see and we'll talk about it. And that's all we got. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Brazilian lizard.
Good night, Egon, forever.
Ah.